Hi, folks. Welcome to another episode of Film Study. This is Ken McKusick, and we're here for another one of the Concerns series. I have to almost use air quotes on this one because this is just the perfect start or the perfect finishing episode for this series to like tie a bow on it. Joining me to do this is Jim Zipcote, and I'm going to let him tell you what the topic is.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Life's good, Jim. How about you?
Oh, great. Yeah, so you asked me, you kind of pinged me offline. You asked me if I had any concerns about this season, and I said not really on the field. I think that this is a great team and a great coaching staff, but I'm concerned that we're not going to enjoy this season.
As
Uh,
fans, we're not going to enjoy it.
yes, as fans, right? Because our expectations for this team and really our requirements for this organization are so high that we haven't been able to enjoy wins. I feel like that no victory this season is going to come with enough style points for us to really think, yeah, that was a good performance. I think that we're going to be on the edge of our seat and even disappointed by close wins. And God help us, with the occasional loss that comes around. I think that the season might be one of the least enjoyable in recent years.
Now, we're all for learning an additional vocabulary word when we can, but I learned something new when I was doing a little bit of prep for this episode. There is a word for
Yeah.
fear of failure. It's atychiphobia. And I believe we have this as a group right now. So if you're in range of my voice and you have concerns about this team as good as it is, I think atychiphobia is probably the correct word for it.
I wish that I had invested some time to look up the word for failure to smell the roses.
Oh, you can do that while we have time, because I'm going to give them the
Okay.
17 different concerns I got
All
in
right.
10 minutes on Twitter about the Baltimore Ravens. And you're going to think some of these are ridiculous. Okay, number one was Harbaugh. A number of people said that, by the way. Number two, weak side linebacker, not enough takeaways, cornerback 3, health and injury history of the cornerbacks, the Isaiah Likely injury, wide receiver 3, the defensive line after Pierce, defensive backs locating and tracking the football, early season tiebreaker results, running back rotation. The running back rotation. Really, you got a problem with this running back rotation? I'm sorry. I'll continue on. The safety rotation, guard spots, Lamar in big games, the offensive line getting bullied, rookie kicker, and probably my favorite, a lack of commitment to Mike Green. Because we all know exactly what the commitment level is to Mike Green and what it should be.
And what it should be.
Yes. And we can't imagine that the Ravens are possibly going to follow through on that. And I think atychiphobia is the perfect number 18. I think it ties a bow on this series in terms of the potential problems for this season for Ravens fans. And you said it earlier, every win is going to feel like a tie because it was expected. Every loss is going to feel like we just had the two internal
Titanic
organs
sinking.
ripped out.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and especially the first batch of the season, the first 5 or 6 games where we're playing 3 of the 4 participants in the conference championship games in Detroit and Buffalo and Kansas City. Like, I don't care if you win any one of those games by a final score of 3-2. Like, that is an outstanding. Any one of those wins would be outstanding. God help us if you get 3. But here's how Ravens fans are. Let's say we win one of those games 17-14. And I don't mean to tar other Ravens fans as if I don't have this problem. I feel exactly the same way, okay? But you guys, like say we beat Detroit 17-14. Well, we really didn't take advantage of the offensive opportunities we have. They've got to do a better job of getting turnovers. That game should never have been that close. Especially Harbaugh's clock management to close the first half. We should have come away with a field goal rather than just using up, the clock and not letting the Lions have the ball back. I mean, there's just no way we're going to be able to beat Kansas City with an effort like we showed against Detroit.
And don't we hear that every year?
Every
that's
year,
not going to get it done in the playoffs?
Yes.
That's not going to get it done. As if the people who typically say that really know what's going to win in the playoffs, as if they really know. It is something that I'm fairly continually bothered by when I hear that statement made. Is
Mhm.
that's not going to get it done in the playoffs?
We don't know
Uh,
what's gonna get it done in
yeah,
the
of
playoffs.
course we
The
don't.
Mile High Miracle game, the Ravens gave up 2 return touchdowns.
Mhm.
You never win when you
No,
give up.
that's not going to do it in the playoffs.
No, absolutely not.
and they blew what, two different leads. Actually, they came
Yes.
back to tie a couple different times too. So
Yeah, yep.
it's just a lot of things you could say about this, but there's certain things that kind of get me going, and it sometimes leads to less engagement. Honestly, on Twitter, is that I hear things like that, and I don't feel like responding because I know I'll say something nasty in
Yes,
terms of the response. So,
yes.
um, but I think this is a legitimate concern for Ravens fans. I mean, can you take a moment to understand just how fortunate with this? The old Harbaugh saying of who's got it better than us. It couldn't be more appropriate than this year. The Ravens may not win the Super Bowl. We better be able to enjoy this football season for what it is.
Exactly, exactly.
We got a franchise quarterback. We got somebody asked me, Jonas Schaefer asked me today to say what unit is the weakest on the team and what unit is the strongest on the team. And first of all, what unit is the strongest on the team? After quarterback,
The
I'm not
unit
even
with Lamar
sure.
Jackson on
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm not even sure what it is. The wide receivers are good. The tight ends are very good. The offensive line is okay. Maybe just a step behind. I really think the defensive line is going to be good. Some people say the inside linebackers are bad. I think it's a very deep and talented group from what
Yeah,
I've seen, and even those fifth and sixth guys are good. The outside cornerbacks, well, there's some health possibilities there, but I think it's generally a good group.
it's
The
probably
safeties,
it's the
yeah,
top 3 group in the league, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I mean,
Keep
just
going, keep going.
it's well, we went through
The
almost all
safeties,
11
Kyle
right there.
Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, and you have Malachi Starks, you have a first round draft pick back there.
Yep.
Even the specialists, I think we have a chance to be better than the Ravens have been the last 3 years with Tucker kind of in decline. I think Luke
Mhm.
might take them to new heights. So he probably won't be the Tucker of early career or of mid career,
Right.
but he'd probably be better than the Tucker of late career is what I would hope for as
So
a
you're
starting
saying
point
that
for them
the kicker might not be the greatest kicker of all
of all time.
time.
Yes,
That is a profound concern, I think, for
yes.
any team that we might not have the greatest of all time in every single position
It's
group.
just it's one of these things where we have to apply a larger, a more magnification to our microscope for this
Yeah,
team to find these minute flaws that honestly they've built an unbelievably deep and talented team. And it could all unravel with injuries. That's all,
absolutely. Yeah.
but injuries, they're not an actionable
No.
problem, right?
I would say injuries have a huge randomness component.
Hmm.
And to the extent that they do have an actionable component, Harbaugh and company have clearly been taking actions in those areas. Like they swapped out the guy who was trying to kill the players, maybe too late, but they did it. I know that they invest a ton of time into like if you watched the in-season Hard Knocks last year, there was a practice and a guy with an Australian accent came up to Harbaugh at the end of practice with a tablet and showed it to him. And he says, "You're going to be really pleased with the speed numbers." And so
Hmm.
they're tracking the speed numbers of all of the players as an indicator of, whether they've had enough of sufficient rest, whether the team as a whole is bouncing back, in time for the game. Like they're doing what they can to, for preparation and recovery and performance. And, it'll work or it won't, but they're doing what can be done.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And this is a team, by the way, if there was news of a new way to spend money to try and avoid injuries, they would be
Oh my God.
all over it. They would be all over it. So, I hope that those systems come along someday, which are really useful predictors of that, and
Mhm.
can help you get players out of games and out of practice. When they might be putting themselves at risk, but I think they've done a fine job of trying to deal what they have. They're very cautious with players, particularly during camp, and making them sit out additional time.
I would have called it
Um,
conservative. Yeah, they do not rush
yeah.
guys back from injury to a point where we have gotten frustrated in season. Why
Mhm.
wasn't he, back 2 weeks ago? He said he was fine, full participation.
Right.
Harbs is conservative in a bad and a good way. And I would say that's a good way. It requires a lot of self-discipline, in any particular game to, leave Kyle Hamilton, let's say, on the bench when he's, 85% and saying, "Put me in, coach, put me in, coach."
Yep.
Um, but that's long term, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So, as fans, do you have any relaxation technique? You've pointed out this very central concern for the 2025 season. What would you recommend? How can you make that actionable for us? How do
I don't
we?
know, but I have a personal story to tell.
Sure.
And I've been trying to look up what week it came from because I wrote a column about this. But we had a death in the family a few years ago, and we had a memorial service on like Saturday, and then the next day there was a Ravens game. And my stepdaughter had moved out by this time, but she came over like half an hour early, and she sat in the living room to watch the Ravens game. And I did want to look up which game it was because it was one of those topsy-turvy, crazy games with like turnovers and then like a reverse turnover. And like we lost the lead and then we took the lead back. And so it's one of those games where you're sitting in the living room screaming, at the TV, like, ah!
Yeah.
And, they talk. Uh, the essence of a football season for us fans is that, those 3 hours that you are screaming at the TV and you are living and dying with every possession. And, "Oh, did he catch the ball? Oh, damn it, he dropped it. Oh, wait, he did catch it, and it's
They're going to
overturned."
challenge that.
There exactly. And, that's where the fun is. Um, and so I had written a column that week for RSR, and I just wanted to say, let's, with the philosophy of that weekend, I want to, because that time, like my stepdaughter hadn't been coming over on Sunday to watch football games. She came over that day, and she didn't talk about why she came over, but she was clearly just to, sit with me and watch the football game, and it was precious and wonderful, and thank God we won. But to me, that's where I take my um, that's the remembrance of that day is what I try to take back when we have an exciting game.
You ever have one of those days where everything's off? Well, Mood can help with that. And let me tell you about Mood. It's the online cannabis brand that is changing the way we handle everything, from stress to sleepless nights, with functional gummies that are 100% federally legal cannabis. Mood launched to make cannabis affordable, accessible, and transparent, while at the same time supporting American farmers growing premium hemp on small pesticide-free farms. Their gummies are next level. Seriously, I've tried a few and each one feels totally different. The Sleepy Time gummies, out like a light, immediately asleep. The Epic Euphoria, it's perfect when you just need a reset to feel good again. What makes them unique? Mood combines THC with herbs and adaptogens, so you get real targeted effects. You're not going to find this in your typical dispensary. And here's the best part. Mood ships discreetly to most states, offers a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, and right now you get 20% off your first order with the promo code RAVEN. Just head to mood.com. Find your perfect gummy and use the code RAVENS at checkout to save 20%.
a game that's a little too exciting, that's what we're watching for.
Mhm. It does. It definitely does give us that adrenaline boost to watch the game as we're doing it. I'm going to tell a little different story, but it's along the same lines. Is
Yeah.
Maureen and I always watch football together. It's something we've always done, and we have season tickets for baseball and whatnot as well. But what we do for baseball when the Orioles are on the road is I'm usually in my office watching the game. And I say, hon, you want to come in and watch the game with me? We got a close one here, and she'll say very often, "No, I'll just stay in here and watch my show. I'll be able to tell from your screams if they won or not." and she's 100% right. I mean, I get very upset as the game's going on. And
My wife Sarah does not watch the second half of games with me.
Same reason.
I believe she doesn't talk about it, but I believe when we're stomping the other team, she does. But if it's like a Steelers game, she'll watch the first half with me, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I gotta go upstairs and do." And I'm sure she's tracking from the screams, but she does. It's a little too tense to be in the room, I think.
There's a lot of profanity that streams out at the screen, and I think that I'd take that as just being part of it, being a normal sports fan. Period. Not
Yeah,
just
of course.
So, all right. So,
Can we talk about some recent fun seasons?
Sure.
So, for me, the most I'm sure this is true for the whole fan base, right? The most fun regular season, uh, certainly in recent years, and maybe ever for me, was the 2019 season when Lamar won his first MVP. And one of the characteristics of that season is we did not go into it with high expectations. We had a rookie, or not a rookie, but a quarterback entering his first full season as the
Hmm.
starter. He had shown some, let's say, inconsistencies with mechanics, the prior season. And by inconsistencies, I mean that a full half of the fan base was saying this guy can't throw the damn football and he should not be our quarterback.
Yep.
We had a new offense coordinator and an overhauled play calling system that they talked a lot about during that off season, and so we didn't expect much.
And there was more, because on the defensive side of the ball, they basically let a whole bunch of people from 2018 walk. The only guy they got back was Earl Thomas, which turned out to be one of the big failures of all time. And yet
Right.
they were able to rebuild that defense on the fly during
Hmm.
the season
Yes.
to support an offense which was the historic best in Ravens history.
Yep. So Lamar announced himself with what, 55 points in week one. And every week, so a lot of people forget that the close game against the Cardinals and the loss against Cleveland, and then they
Mhm.
rebuilt the inside linebacker room. I feel like they just outright cut two starters and signed guys off the street, and then it turned into a romp. The 12-game winning streak, just the most exciting and out of nowhere, like a lightning bolt, season. And it was, I mean, it was delightful, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if you can remember back over the awful hump of the Tennessee loss in
Mhm.
that year's playoffs, if you remember the regular season, like, have you ever had more fun than that in a regular season?
I mean, the times are low expectation times. So the 2000 team, I actually had a lot of expectations for them going into the year, but they
Hmm.
completely surpassed anything I could have hoped for. And then the next season, I really remember that they really beat expectations a lot. It was 2006,
Hmm.
when it's very similar to 2019 in a lot of ways, that the first round playoff exit at home against the Colts. I mean, just it doesn't get any worse than that. I mean,
Yeah.
that day, those 2 days, probably the worst two football days I've ever had lifetime. And then
Which you said 2 days?
yeah, the 2006 and 19 playoff losses.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so they were absolutely horrible. We got very, very spoiled during the 2008 to 2012 era. 2008, by the way, another big surprise.
Yes.
We didn't know what we had in Joe Flacco. We didn't
Mhm.
know who Ray Rice would become.
Right.
And those are the first two draft picks the Ravens had that year, and it
And Joe
ended up being
Flacco
great.
started out camp as wide receiver 3, like, was it Kyle Bowler got mono, or was it the other guy who got mono? And, um
Yeah, that sounds like a Kyle Bowler thing, but
it
yeah,
does.
but it might have been. It might have been. There was a sickness involved in Troy Smith,
Yes.
and they did expect Flacco to take the reins, but then
Not
circumstances
week 1.
conspired
Yep.
to make him the quarterback right away, and there was no turning back as soon as he won that very first game against Cincinnati.
Mhm. Uh, yeah. I'm sorry, that Cincinnati game is a very fond memory for me because there was a moment in that game where I knew that we had not drafted Kyle Bowler 2.0. I knew that Joe could play.
Mhm.
And it was a play where the play broke down. Lamar dropped back. The play broke down, and he was under duress. And I can't believe that I'm blanking on the name of the greatest tight end in Ravens history
Todd
before.
Heap.
Todd Heap was very close to Joe, but he was behind the pass rusher, and Heap turned and presented his hands to Joe, like, "Here, throw me the ball quick." And Joe looked at him, and he was too close to throw the ball to, honestly. And Joe rolled away from him, and
Created space.
he right, created space, but in Heap's body language, you could see a giant question mark over his head going like, "Ah!" And Flacco rolls away from him with the defender in chase, creates space, then turns back and lofts it to him. It's a beautiful basketball play. And with the space created, Heap catches it and he gains positive yardage from a broken play. And I thought to myself, spatial awareness, game awareness, like, this guy has it. And to get like a reassuring sense in that very first game, he's a rookie. I doubt that he completed 50% of his passes in that game, but you look for flashes or indications, and he showed me that. And I'm like, boom, we got a guy.
Yeah. That was a very, very exciting game to see him. He ran for a touchdown
He
in that
ran
game.
for, yes, he
I
did.
think that was the longest run of his career in that very first game he played. But it was anyways. It was wonderful to see. But
So the
back
fun seasons are the surprises, the ones
there
that
you
come
go.
out of nowhere. And this season is absolutely not, is exactly the opposite. This is the most high tension, pressure ratcheted. If they can't win it this year, then they can't win it at all, blow up the ship. Like, I don't believe that, but no victory is going to be strong enough in the regular season for us to enjoy and relax and have fun with and be like, yeah, we're good. This is great. I love watching football.
Yeah, they could go on an early season run and go, 5-1 or something and be in really good position for the 1 seed, and then we'd be
Hmm.
thinking, yeah, this might be the year. If they go 4-2, I mean, it'll be good if that happens because hey,
Yeah.
this is a very tough early season schedule.
Yes.
It's a lot of it's on the road, and if they ended up going 4-2, I think we still might be, we were expected to do that. What are you talking about, kind of thing.
Right.
The Ravens have had a lot of success against winning teams lately, but this does not happen every year, folks. It does
No,
not
it does
happen that you have a
not.
team this good.
I mean, like, look around the division if you want to see what, the rest of the world, what regular life is like for most
Yeah.
teams.
So I have a friend, my college broadcasting partner, who says the Ravens' problems are first world problems.
My wife uses
That
that term also.
this is
My
this
stepdaughter uses the term white girl problems,
white
for,
girl problems.
yeah, she
Okay.
says like, Starbucks didn't put the right amount of ice in my latte or something like that. That's the same theory, you know.
I think I can understand that. Yes. All right. All right.
So
Well,
you
what?
mentioned some possible records. I'm gonna tell you right now. Well, I want to mention parenthetically that Rams matchup is kind of hidden in there, and that's going to be a really tough game. Um, we all have profound respect for McVay. He can game plan like nobody's business. We beat them last time, and I think it was an overtime game. I think that's among the conference championship game participants, that game is, I wouldn't call it a trap game, but that's definitely a potential gotcha.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
but
they
the
almost
main thing
got
I wanted to,
unpotentially gotten by the Rams the last time when
yes,
Tylen Wallace bailed them out in overtime.
yep. But you mentioned, 5-1, 4-2. I'm going to give you another scenario. If we go 6-0, I'm going to be talking bandwagon 17-0, and I'm not going to shut up about it.
Okay. Well, I think that there might be a few people there with you because it would be an amazing run if they beat all these teams and have that sort of a start. Um, it'd be quite an accomplishment for everybody involved in the organization if
Yeah.
they get that done.
If they go 3-3, 2-4 to open the season, then the stance I'm going to take, assuming that there's no, injuries or long-term, players going to miss time or whatever, the stance I'm going to try to take is, oh, good, they'll be battle tested.
Okay. Well, you heard it. You heard it here from Jim. Is start worrying about running back 3. Start worrying about the running back
That's
rotation
right.
and the commitment level for Mike Green, and then you might be able to figure it out. We do have somebody actually coming on to talk about the running back room, and he's got a concern about it. I wait for that with bated breath. Is all I can say.
I
I'm
mean,
really looking forward to hear what he has to say.
yeah. I There, Keaton Mitchell coming off injury
Yep.
still, I'm sorry, Justice Hill is, not Jim Brown. He's good, but so maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, I know we're wrapping up. I want to say that I implore Ravens fans to try to smell the roses this season. We've got a quarterback coming off an MVP season. Don't talk to me about Josh Allen. We've got like this should be some of the best football you ever see from this organization, and 29 to 30 team fan bases would kill to be able to watch football like we're going to have the chance to watch this year, no matter how the records fall.
Right. And same 30 or 31 fan bases are rooting for the Ravens to suffer horrible injuries that
Yeah.
will, keep them from being the team they might be. And that really, that tells you a lot about just how successful and how built up this franchise is right now. All right, Jim, always a pleasure talking football with you. Tell people where they can talk football with you online.
Well, I'm on Blue Sky and Twitter, and I have started a Substack this offseason called Zip Drive and Dish. So if you just Google Zip Drive and Dish Substack, you'll find my writings about the Ravens. Nothing since training camp started, but there'll be a weekly piece on the Ravens pass catchers after every game, and more musings, as the spirit prompts.
All right, outstanding. Other folks out there, if you want to be on the Concern series, there's still time. Hit me up with a DM on Twitter. I'll try and get you in before the opener. If not, if you just have some other topic you want to discuss in season, a film study short is the place for you. And all you have to be is passionate about it, and we'll have a fun little discussion about it, and hopefully that'll be entertaining. Jim, thanks again for joining me.
Ken, thanks so much for the invite. I love coming on here and talk football with you.
And we'll talk to you next time on Film Study.